Okay, so tell us something else that's out and interesting.
Bergman Island, which is the new film by Mia Hansen-Løve, who made Father of My Children, Goodbye First Love, Eden, Things to Come. This premiered in Cannes last year. We've just got to the end of the new Cannes Film Festival. Vicky Krieps, who was in Phantom Thread, which you love.
I did.
And Tim Roth.
Is it him again?
It is him again. Chris and Tony. He's not playing the...
Not playing the FIFA boss.
He's not doing that anymore, no.
Yes.
They're a filmmaker couple who go to stay on Bergman Island, which is far off the Swedish coast. They're there for inspiration, for work, to talk about Bergman's work in private and in public. Everywhere they look, there are the ghost of Bergman's films. There are 35mm screenings of Cries and Whispers. There is a Bergman safari, which takes you around all the places where Bergman worked and shot and looked at stuff. There are conversations which feel like real conversations about Bergman and his life and his work and whether it's possible to separate his life and his work. And all the while, the central relationship between the two central characters, seems to sort of be mirroring that Bergman-esque thing. We hear that scenes from a marriage, the Bergman thing, which caused thousands of people to divorce, and it looks like it might be happening again. Here's a clip.
How was it?
It was pretty good, actually. Yeah. But I've been feeling a bit yuck since I got back.
Why? What happened?
Must have been a burger. So, where were you?
Driving around.
Oh, yeah? Driving around?
I met a guy.
Oh, you met a guy, did you?
Student.
Oh, student, was he?
Film student from Stockholm.
Was he handsome? Was he sexy, was he?
Yeah.
Was he brilliant when he talked about Bergman?
Not like you, but his clumsiness has its charm.
Thanks. Shut up.
So at that point, the cracks seem to be sort of on the surface. Then as the film goes on, you think, okay, well, the cracks are slightly deeper, and they're very Bergman-esque cracks. And then...
what is a Bergman-esque crack?
It's a piercing and often rather unforgiving way at looking at the lies that we tell each other under the guise of normal human behaviour.
Okay, thank you.
I was actually quite proud of that.
That's very good.
Thank you. And then at one point she says to him, look, I'm writing my script and I've got a problem with the ending. Can you help me with it? He says, I doubt it. But, tell me. She starts then telling him her script about a doomed relationship. And as she tells the story, we start watching the film that she's telling him about, in which Mia Wasikowska's character meets an old flame who she was with, and then they broke up, but they're at a wedding, and now the past arises again. And so we're suddenly in a different film, and now past and present seem to intertwine, as do fact and fiction. And it becomes clear that this film is really it's a work of fiction, but it's a veiled discussion of her own life. And art and life are, in fact, indivisible in just the way that they had spoken about with, is it possible to separate Bergman's life and Bergman's art? Now, it sounds pretentious and boring. It's actually anything but that. I thought it was rather enchanting, rather seductive, not least because the music, and you will love this as Greatest Hits Radio's,
Drive Time host.
The pop tunes include ABBA's The Winner Takes It All and Tina Charles's I Love to Love, which plays a huge part in the drama of Bergman Island. I mean, it could so easily have become navel-gazing. There's one part in which one character on the island slags Bergman off for being a nasty piece of work. And if anyone saw Bergman A Year in the Life documentary, it's kind of hard to disagree. But actually, the film is so much lighter than that. It's so much more whimsical and profound, but it wears that profundity lightly. And I think a lot of it is to do with just how natural Vicky Krieps feels in that central role, that she really brings the audience on board. So it becomes a meditation upon life and art and the interplay between the two, but it never feels like it's hammering a point home or that it's ponderous, or it never feels like what the title implies that it would be, which is let's just stodge through a back catalogue of grief. It's actually really enjoyable and rather lovely, and I love it for using I Love to Love.
And before you tell us about the movie of the week, if you had to spend this coming weekend in Midwich, The Village in Men, or Bergman Island, where would you go?
Absolutely Bergman Island. It's so much. I mean, the weather's nicer for a start.